Hold on a second.
Well, is this the time for me to talk about daylight saving while you try and figure out all your questions?
Yes. Go ahead. You do that. I'll be with you.
So rather than we watch you trying to figure everything out, we have daylight saving if you are lucky or unlucky enough to be living in North America. We have daylight saving starting Sunday at 1 a.m. At 2 a.m. Regardless, it's when everybody should be sleeping. It's starting. And what happens then is we jump forward a whole hour. We spring forward, which is how I remember, because we're heading into spring, and we spring forward an hour. So that means that the time it is, wherever it is with you right now, this time next week, it will actually be an hour later. Now, a lot of time people are like, what do I do with my child's sleep at this point? No, you don't actually have to do anything. You really don't. You could then have your child, they will go to sleep later, but they would also get up an hour later. And that's kind of nice. But so unless you have to get your child up at a certain time, then you don't have to make any changes whatsoever. Now, if you do have to make changes, or you just want to make changes, that's completely fine. And I have the perfect way that you can start doing that. But you will need to kind of start now, adjusting now, shifting their sleep now, so that it makes it so much easier then when the time comes at the weekend. So what we actually want to start doing is we want to start waking your child a little bit earlier. And I know that sounds kind of a little bit insane. Why would I want to do that in the morning? We want to do that because actually we want to try, if possible, shifting their naps a little bit. And then we want to try, when possible, to start going down to bed a little bit early. Okay, so they're starting the day early, their naps early, and they're going down to bed a little bit early. Now, this could be just 20 minutes. You're just going to be doing this 20 minutes early. And then you'll want to, maybe every other day, shift again another 20 minutes. So you're going to be waking them up early, you're going to be trying to adjust the naps early, and then you're going to be going down again another 20 minutes early. So then when with the clocks jump forward on Saturday night, Sunday morning, it is not going to be such a big sort of step. We're not suddenly having to just be sort of waking your child an hour early. We've actually helped them adjust. So if you go every other day and then you're shifting by 20 minutes, starting the day early, trying, if possible, to shift your naps that little bit early, but definitely your bedtime as well that little bit earlier. Then your child's actually going to bed earlier than they normally would, but then when the clocks spring forward, they're back on track. But you don't have to do it at all, remember. If you would like your child to go down to bed an hour later and sleep in an hour later, this is where you get that hour. So you can totally take advantage of that.
Awesome. Sorry about that. Sorry I got so distracted there for a moment. Everything's good.
That's okay.
That was great. You know what? It's like moms have to think about everything that comes up, right? Because every little thing throws them off, right? And so I love how you address it because it will help it's always good to like prepare versus then dealing with it. And it seems like such a little thing, but it's not, any little thing's going to throw them off. So I love that we have that little bit of support today, because I didn't even know that we were doing that this weekend.
Well, there you go. Yeah, we do it this weekend.
I guess my teenagers will be sleeping till like 1 now.
I can guarantee it. See, and that just goes to show that any sleep issue you're having now, give it another another 13 years, and your sleep issue is going to be that you cannot get your kids out of bed in the morning.
It's ridiculous, because Talia, my almost 15-year-old, was my one who never slept. Okay, she never slept for years. She was up. I could still hear her. How that like ingrains in your brain that sound of like mama.
Oh yeah.
In the middle of the night. I can actually still hear it, and she's almost 15. And she just never slept, and now she never wakes up. She can sleep till noon, she could sleep till 1, and I think, remember those days when you could sleep like that? I just can't do that anymore.
No, I can't. Me either. Sometimes I really wish I could.
I know, right?
I know. Just like when I have the opportunity on a weekend, I think, oh, I'm going to stay in bed till like 11. No, not happening.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So I just want to let you guys know what the prizes are today. So today we are going to be giving away your choice of the Love to Dream products, whether that's the, I'm going to pull it up here, whether that's the Swaddle Up, the regular original Swaddle Up, or the 50-50, which is the ones that are transitional. And that means that they will actually, the arms will zip off so that you can transition them into having their hands free. And that's important somewhere around 4 months, 3-4 months. Whenever they start to show signs of rolling over, you want to start to transition them. And we also have the sleep suits, which are completely adorable, okay, and go through toddler. And also the sleep sacks. So you'll get your choice, and you can choose if you want the winter or the summer or the original or whatever you want, okay? So if you want to win Love to Dream, I want you to go ahead and just comment at any point during the live stream today and let me know what you love about Love to Dream, whether you have it and you want to, go up to the next stage and win the next stage, or you don't have it and you love the idea and would love to know more about it and have one for your baby, okay? So just go ahead at some point and post here and let us know. And please make sure everybody's giving us hearts and loving the live stream today and all of that, all right? The other thing we're going to be doing is giving away one of the new Hush Advanced Double Electric Even Flow breast pumps, okay? And I actually took out one of the other, I wanted to show you something, so I actually switched this out, okay? But it's a double electric pump. It's the one that I helped to design. It has all the features that I love and that you need in a breast pump, okay? And I'm not kidding about that. I mean, honestly, I was involved in designing this one, and it is got everything from closed systems and independent speed and suction to multiple flange sizes and a battery option, as well as, bottle holders. And so importantly, and we talked about this a couple months ago, and I keep talking about it because most importantly, it is the most comfortable pump out there. The most comfortable. It's so, moms will actually use it and feel like they can't feel anything. And you're not supposed to feel a lot. The whole point is that you're not supposed to be in pain, and it shouldn't feel like it hurts, okay? That's how you can not get as much milk out. But these pumps have this soft silicone insert, okay, that comes in different sizes. And this just feels so soft against your nipple and does not cause pain. And then they also are the sit back flanges, which if you don't know what that is, go ahead and ask the other mamas here in the group and they will tell you what a sit back flange is, okay? But I wanted to show you something. Look at how cool this is. Even Flow just created little 2-ounce colostrum containers. Okay, this is for those first early days when your milk is just in small amounts. Okay, and this is actually good for the first few weeks. Actually, 2 ounces is what your baby is going to be eating or less. Okay, and what's so wonderful about that is that when you look at the bigger bottles, even a 5 ounce, okay, when you're talking about feeding an ounce or 1.5 ounces, it looks like nothing inside of these containers, inside the bottles, which is what I love so much about these little itty bitty teeny ones. Okay, they're just so appropriate for either hand expressing into or pumping into in the early days if you need to. And they just, they integrate everything that they have. And that's what I love too. So that the little 2 ounces actually do fit right onto your pump flange. So you can pump right into them. Everything interchanges. Okay. And you can screw these on. Who's loving this? Okay. Are they the cutest little thing? And then they also will take the balanced nipples right onto it so that you could pump right into it and then you could feed right into it. And that's just wonderful. Okay, just wonderful. So if you've had any experience with any of these products, love to hear from you. And that's part of the giveaway. Okay, you need to post here. Tell me what you love and want about Even Flow and the new Hush pump, and let me know. And if you don't know about it, you'll find out more when you type baby. Okay, there's a link there. It'll teach you all about the different features and why this is such a great pump. Okay, yeah, you guys have heard great things. I know. All right, you know what? Before we move on to a question for me, Rebecca, we have Kim waiting in the wings here to ask us her question live. So I'm going to bring her into the live.
I love it.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, something that we've been doing for a while, and we were just saying before the show, like we love so much, is when you guys jump into the live stream, and the link is here in the post. So you could click right on it, and it'll take you into our live stream, and I'll see you sitting here. You just wait for me. When we have a moment to switch over, we'll bring you in, and you can ask your question live. Okay, you can ask your question. And everyone who jumps into the live will be eligible for an extra prize today. Okay, we'll be eligible for an extra giveaway just for people who go live with us. Okay, so let's do this. Let's bring Kim in right now.
Hello.
Hi, Kim. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Very good. Very good. What's your question for us?
So it's a sleep question about pacifiers. Yay. Baby is 12 weeks old and she takes a pacifier. It helps her fall asleep. It's like a magic, you know, she put it in and bleh. But then she spits it out and wakes up 5 million times a night screaming. And so I'm like, is this hurting her sleep cycles when it falls out? Should I just go cold turkey and get rid of the pacifier? Is it worth it? I don't know. So.
Okay. When she spits it out during the night and she starts crying, if you pop it back in, does she just suck and go back down to sleep, or is she kind of, yeah. Okay. So she's really reliant on that sucking then in order to get to sleep and to get back to sleep. Really, really. Okay. Okay. Was she born early, late, or on time?
1 week late.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. And the reason that I ask is that there is a very big shift that happens with sleep at around 12 weeks of age, where she'll go from newborn sleep cycles to actually adult sleep cycles, but they're much shorter than ours. But this happens 12 weeks from due date, not from birth date. So which is why I asked to see whether she's gone through this shift or not. Because when we go through this shift, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. But one of the things that happens is then daytime sleep is managed by one area of the brain, and nighttime sleep is managed by a different area of the brain. So you can work on eliminating that pacifier on one area of sleep, but continue to use it for the other, and it not be confusing or anything whatsoever. So if you are thinking that, okay, using it during the day is actually really good because we kind of get decent naps. I can be there. I can pop it back in. It means we get better naps, which means that our night times are a little bit better. You can continue to use it for nap time, but then eliminate it for nighttime if you want to do so. I think that maybe if she's waking up so many times, that it may be time to eliminate the pacifier for the nighttime. Now, the thing with the pacifier is you can use it to soothe, but you don't want to fall into sleep with it. But now if she's used to falling asleep with it, you may actually make her even more frustrated if you're letting her soothe with it, and then you're not letting her have it to fall asleep. So I think then, to be honest, cold turkey may be the way forward. Now, a couple of things when you're doing kind of cold turkey. 3 nights to break a habit. That's all it takes to break a habit. Now, they're not necessarily going to be easy nights. Certainly not. But it takes 3 nights to break a habit. But don't just leave her. She's going to need some other kind of help to be able to because she's going to get herself in a pickle, that you're then going to need to help her and soothe her. So don't be afraid to pick her up and rock her and be hands-on. Don't be afraid to do any of these. The sucking into a deep sleep is the hardest habit to break. But it doesn't mean that you're then going to be rocking and hands-on, replacing all those times that the pacifier is coming out with that rocking each time, because you won't. It's very, very different. So try offering the minimal amount of help. So when she sort of begins to fuss and wake up, wait until she's kind of definitely awake. So it's more, it's like, oh, you are really awake right now. Then to kind of be hands-on is a little bit of jiggling. Okay, no, probably not. Then you may need to get to the picking her up and then rocking and patting and all of those kinds of things. Add more and more and more help as you need to, because you're not going to have to give the same level of help everything, the beginning of the night as you are at 3 a.m., as you are at 11 p.m., as you are at 5 a.m. So just kind of try offering sort of the minimal amount of help. The best thing to remember here is it's just 3 nights. You can do 3 nights.
Yeah.
But the great thing is as well, you can continue to use the pacifier during the daytime so that she's still getting some pretty good naps during the day. So it's not a complete sort of like an all or nothing. You can kind of really sort of break it up into the 2 areas of sleep there and it not be confusing at all.
Perfect. That sounds doable.
Awesome. Good question.
Thanks.
Good
It's a great question.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Kim.
Thanks, guys.
All right. See you later.
Bye.
Awesome. Love that. Love that you could just answer her question like that. How wonderful.
Mhm.
Let's get some hearts for Kim and also
Yeah.
for Rebecca for answering so beautifully there. And I see you all posting about your even flow pumps. Love that too. Love that
Mhm.
too. Wonderful. All right. How about a question for me?
Yes. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Okay. Ashley had a great question. Is there anything I can take or do to increase my milk supply that's not too expensive? When I pump in the morning, I sometimes get 1 ounce, and throughout the day, I'm getting less.
Okay. So it's very common that when you're using your breast pump that you may see a decrease in your milk output. And of course, the first thought you're going to go to is that you need to do something to increase your supply.
Mm-hmm.
But I would actually have you step back from that versus going straight. The first thought, I wouldn't have you go straight to that your supply has decreased, especially if when you feed your baby, things seem to be fine, but you're unable to pump enough milk with your breast pump. I would first look to see whether it's actually the pump that's not getting the milk out. All right. One, either the pump is not functioning right. So maybe the parts like the little valves and membranes, those are parts that need to be replaced, especially, as you use your pump, they wear out and they need to be replaced. And that could help, they could start to decrease your ability to pump more versus your supply, or actually it could affect your supply if you're continuing to do that and not extracting the milk. But first check to make sure that your parts are functioning right. And then, the other part is something that I've taught so much about, which is how to effectively use your pump. And some breast pumps do have features like the one we're talking about today with Even Flow that allow you to get more milk out by stimulating your body to have multiple letdowns. And what I mean by that is when your baby eats at the breast, they're actually doing something that you really can't see because they just instinctively know what to do. They suck at the breast, they start the first letdown, they stimulate that oxytocin in your brain to release the milk, and then they are able to extract what's there. And then a few minutes goes by, they stimulate another letdown, and you'll see them do this. If you really pay attention, you'll see how they suck faster, then they start gulping harder, then they suck faster again, then they start gulping harder again, and they take breaks. And these are all the ways that a baby will stimulate multiple letdowns while nursing at the breast. What we need to do with a breast pump is we need to simulate what the baby does to really, the baby's really the guide, all right? Babies are really going to teach us, how does your breast effectively express breast milk? And if we can get as close, we can never do what the baby does, but if we can get as close to mimicking that, we can more effectively extract the milk and therefore have more efficient pumping sessions, make it go quicker, and then ultimately help to maintain the supply that you have, because it is supply and demand. And when you do extract more, you'll make more. When you extract less, you'll start to make less. So this is very, very important. All right. And we haven't actually, I actually pulled up this video today because we haven't shown this in a long time. And I think it's worth watching. It's the 3-stage pumping method video. And it's a very simple video that teaches you what's not intuitive about breast pumps. All right. So it's a simple 3-stage process of helping you to get that get the first letdown, get that second letdown, and again, get more letdowns after that. You can get up to, anywhere from 3 to 8 or 9 letdowns in one session. And you'll be amazed, because if you try this, and I have moms who have never done it before, and then they're like, oh, I didn't know that's how you use a breast pump. When they actually try it, they're amazed by how it just starts to flow again and again. And the amount of output goes from, can go from, double, can be double. And I've had so many stories of this. So have any of you used my 3-stage pumping and had amazing results with it. I'd love to hear from you. You can go ahead and post it here in the chat, but I'm going to play the video because I think it's very helpful. So let's do this. And sometimes the audio lags, okay? That's okay. Just listen and watch, and then you can also go watch it. We'll post it. Stephanie, if you'll post this again into our private group, into My Baby Experts community, so that anybody who needs to watch it later can watch it as well. All right. So let's put this up, and
breastfeeding moms know that pumping takes time and lots of commitment. I have a secret to share that's going to help you get a lot more milk in a lot less time. The first thing you're going to need is a pump that lets you control your speed and suction independently, putting you in control. Start with the pump turned all the way up on speed and low down on suction. This will simulate what the baby does when the baby starts off at the breast to get a milk release or a let down. Once the milk starts coming out, what you're going to do with your dials is turn your speed down while turning your suction up enough to feel it and not feel pain. Once you see the milk stop flowing, that's when you want to stimulate that second milk release or let down. This is where it gets good. Turn your speed all the way back up again while leaving your suction exactly where it is. Continue to pump with the speed and the suction turned up until you see the milk releasing or the letdown start one more time. After you see that happen, turn your speed back down and again repeat. You can stimulate a second, a third, even a fourth release of milk. This is how you maximize the amount that you get out and how you empty the breast as much as possible.
awesome. Oh, I love reading the comments here. Lexi's saying here, I'm going to just put it up here for us for a second. She said she used it. It helped so much. Once I got the even flow pump and tried the 3-stage pumping method, and whoa, instead of 1 to 1.5 ounces, I got 6 ounces. I was able to have 3+ letdowns. Couldn't believe it. Amazing, right? This is not uncommon. Like when we look at moms who try this and have those controls and they're using them appropriately, this is what the baby does. And it's most importantly, and Ashley, just to go back to the original question that brought this up, first look to not blame yourself. Because as women, as moms, we tend to think there's something wrong with me versus what am I using that may not be functioning properly, or I'm not sure, or never learned, or was never taught how to use it properly. Okay, so first go there before you go into thinking that your supply is low and taking supplements and all these other things. Okay, so that would be my best advice there for you. I love it, love it, love it. Rebecca, yay! Let's get some hearts. Let's get some hearts. And if you want to watch that video again, Stephanie's putting it up into the group. Who here is in my private group? I want to know, because I know your names. I see some of them here. But who's actually joined my Baby Experts community and is loving it over there? And who has not? I want to hear from you guys. All right, Rebecca, you ready for a sleep question?
Oh, I am, yes.
Okay, here's a question for you.
Mhm.
And this is a loaded question. I know this loaded. This came from Palethea. She said, "How do you get a toddler to sleep in their crib all night?"
And I'm sure she is not the only person who has that question.
nobody else has that question. Like nobody. I know.
Many people have this question, which is why this is a lot of what we go into in Slumber Academy, which is my membership site, that because I try and cover all kind of the main sleep issues. And this is one of them, because yes, this is one of the main sleep issues.
Yeah.
So how do we get a toddler to stay in bed for the entire night? Well, a couple of things that we wanted to remember here is children, especially toddlers, love to be in charge. Totally. If you've ever met a toddler, you're quite aware of that they love to be in charge, and they kind of know what they need to do to be able to sort of get their own way with things, especially if you have given in doing things before. And so they know then that, okay, I just need to keep going and keep going and keep going. Very, very persistent as well. So the only way to break a habit, meaning that the only way to have them maybe not coming into your bed or wherever it is that they're sleeping, which isn't in their crib, the only way to break that habit is to not do the habit. And that's sort of how we work with teaching a child to be spending more time in their crib. Now, it goes a lot is to look at then what do I actually do? Because I don't want to just leave them to cry. And there's a lot of many different things that you can do. And again, this is what we really go into in Slumber Academy, is finding out the best thing to do for your unique child. Every child is completely unique. They have their own unique temperament. And then, especially when they're toddlers, every child's going to completely behave their very own sort of specific way. Some children may start banging their head on the crib rails. Others may just lay there and cry. And it really then obviously depends on what your child's doing as to what you're going to do. I don't really have sort of you just need to definitely do this, because it sort of is so very unique, so very personal. So it's something that we really, really go into, looking at your child's temperament and then the things that are going to work best with that temperament. This is what we look at in Slumber Academy. But the thing to sort of know is the only way to break a habit is to not do that habit. It's just finding something that you're comfortable with and that your child is comfortable with to help and support them as they become spending more of the night in the crib and become more independent in the crib.
Yeah. And, I think that's such a good point, is that so many times, we get the questions and it's like, everybody wants just that answer. Give me the answer. And even when it comes to breastfeeding, anything, we're dealing with, yes, it's you and you're going to be doing something, but you've also got this other variable, a big variable in it. And that's the child, and that's your baby. Yeah. And the babies will respond differently. And what works for one baby, you guys know this, what works for one baby doesn't work for every baby. And why it's so wonderful to get good advice and see all the options and many times find out what not to do, at least what not to do, right? But then to be able to work a little more personalized is so important. And, I know with Rebecca's Slumber Academy, that's what you'll get, is more personalized, being able to work through it as a team together and with your child, right? And that's the same thing even with my courses and my new membership that's coming, and this is something that we'll be announcing into the private group soon, is being able to guide you through the process, which is your journey, which is your breastfeeding journey, and figuring out what works for you, which doesn't work for everyone, all right? And so it's very unique. And I think that it also is important when you're getting good advice, even from other mamas, all right, take it in. If it sounds good and you're like, ooh, I want to try that. That sounds like that would work for my child. Or I've never heard of that. Let me try it. But if it doesn't, there's to understand that it's not that there's something wrong with you or your baby. Some babies will sleep through the night. Others will not. Okay. Some babies will go 4 hours between feedings. Others will go 2. Okay. And all of it is normal. And so I think it's really important to not keep thinking something's wrong. All right. We need to be, as parents in general, and like I said, speaking as 2 moms of teenagers, okay, we need to be adaptable. adaptable, and know, feel into our guts of what's right for us as moms and our choices. Also feel into our children and see what's working for them, and then be able to adapt to what works and what doesn't. It's a constant learning opportunity. It's a constant learning journey, and it's constantly changing. And if your baby's now sleeping through the night and they stop doing that and they hit a certain growth, stage, and they're not, again, it is being adaptable so that you can enjoy it. Enjoy it. I don't know how else to put it. It's really like, how do you enjoy it when it's not exactly the most fun thing to do sometimes? How do you enjoy it? You go with the flow, you be adaptable. And while you're doing that, you can really be present for your child, and you can also be teaching by example. All right, because we want our children to learn to be adaptable as well, to learn to go with the flows and the ups and downs in life. And to not get so frustrated and have to be a certain way. All right. So we're teaching as we're learning at the same time. And so there's my little advice.
No, I think that's great. And another thing is that we all want that kind of quick fix. We all want sort of, whether that's you need to get with breastfeeding, with sleep, with anything. We're all sort of like, what's the one thing that I need to do? And it's never, ever, ever one thing, ever. It's always a series of things. If that is going to be then with pumping, or with the latch, or with your child falling asleep independently, it's always a series of many different things. And so looking at it, I think as well from that perspective, is not just one thing that I need to be doing. I need to be kind of breaking this down into the smallest of parts and working on each of these parts. That's going to then head me in the right direction to the results. It may not get you those it's not going to get you instant results, and it may take quite a while for you to get there. But you're going to see it as long as you're heading in the right direction. And that's what I always tell people is, don't let sort of perfect get in the way of good enough. If something, as long as you're heading in the right direction, you are doing amazingly well. And working with a family right now, and their child was held for the first 5 months of sleep, literally held for all naps, for all night time. And then when we first started, we got everything into place. When we first started laying him down, Dad called me the next day and said he only got 5 minutes sleep independently last night. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. He slept for 5 minutes independently. He's done that ever. And he was like, yeah, I never actually thought of it like that. And then less than a month later, he then started getting 5-hour stretches. So we totally didn't get that perfect. And we're not near perfect right now. But we didn't get perfect straight off, but with a lot of sort of working on the right things and that perseverance, that's when you start seeing the results.
Yeah, it takes time. It definitely takes time. Rebecca, can you ask me this question from Victoria?
I can. Hang on. I've dropped my questions.
Oh.
Bear with me.
Do you want me to read it?
Nope, I've got it.
Good.
Okay, Victoria's question. Here we go. I've had the flu a week ago. I'm sorry. That's so very miserable. And I guess she said it was type A. I was wondering, because she told me not to feed for 6 weeks. And I'm wondering, because I feel fine, if I can breastfeed now because I'm off antibiotics and all meds. Can I breastfeed her now or in a week? Ooh.
Okay.
I'm sorry you were sick, Victoria, and I'm so glad you're feeling better.
I just read this question. I was like, okay, we need to address this one just in case there's anybody else out there that has some misinformation like Victoria obviously got. And when she says she here in her question, I'm assuming she's talking about her obstetrician or her physician or her midwife. I have no idea who told her this, but I'm thinking it's her practitioner. Okay. So let's just set it straight right now. Set it straight. If you are sick, if you have the flu, okay, you do not stop breastfeeding your baby. This is not accurate advice. This is misinformation. It's actually dangerous information, okay? So and unfortunately, like so many things that we talk about, there are doctors, nurses, practitioners out there who just do not have the right information, are not educated on breastfeeding, including pediatricians. And I'm just going to straight out say that because it is the truth. All right.
Yeah.
If you have received information like this, where you are sick and someone's telling you you need to stop breastfeeding, you need to get a different doctor. You need to get a different opinion. You need to come here and you need to ask questions, but you need to be talking to somebody who knows what they're saying. When you're sick, your baby is exposed to the illness that you have. Okay, so if you got the flu, your baby is going to be exposed to that flu. Discontinuing breastfeeding at that point could do two things. One, it doesn't give the baby the antibodies that your body is producing specifically for the virus that you're carrying, that will directly give the baby what they need, the antibodies, so that they will stay healthier. And I know there's some of you out there right now watching this who are saying, I had the flu, I breastfed my baby, and they never got sick. Okay, I know that was me. I had the flu really bad, and my baby was like 4 months old, my first one. And I just fed her through the whole thing. My husband got the flu, I got the flu, and the baby never got sick. And she laid right in the middle of both of us, sick for a week. Okay. Mm-hmm. But if you stop breastfeeding at that point, your baby is now at risk for getting that virus. Okay. Same with the medication. And I'm not even sure why she was on antibiotics with the flu, because antibiotics are not for flu. Maybe there was something else going on too. But most medications, okay, are totally safe to take while you are breastfeeding. And if someone is telling you that the medication you're being given, you have to stop breastfeeding or pump and dump your milk, then you get a different medication, okay? Because almost all of them are safe to take. So this, again, it's just such misinformation and just no knowledge of what is safe, okay? And lastly, if you were to stop breastfeeding for all that time, you're going to lose your milk. You're going to either end up with plugged ducts, mastitis. You're going to decrease your supply. So many babies who are breastfed don't take bottles. And so what are they going to do? So it is just terrible. And I had to address it because I know it's like, it's freezing outside. It's flu season. People are sick, whether it's flu or colds or whatever you have. Keep breastfeeding, okay? Keep breastfeeding. It is the right advice. And I think that, last year, the CDC came out with this terrible information and tried to tell people to stop breastfeeding when they had the flu. And there was just so much uproar about it because it's so inaccurate. They retracted that, okay, quickly. Retracted that. Everyone knows this is not right. So, very important to address. Very, very important to address. Yeah, and you're all saying the same thing. I can see that. Fantastic. Good. So hopefully, Victoria, you're feeling better. And then please do not wait a week. Do not wait a minute. Put the baby to breast right now.
That's right now.
Right now. Go get the baby right now and breastfeed now. Okay? Do not wait. Do not wait. 6 weeks. Can you imagine?
No.
6 weeks?
No. That's just like forever.
What the heck? 6 weeks.
That's insane.
I don't even know what to say about that. I don't even know what to say. All right. There's Victoria. You're welcome, Victoria. You're welcome, sweetheart. I hope you're feeling better.
Yes. Hope you feel better.
All right. Can we show a little video from Love to Dream? Because I love this comparison. For those of you guys who don't know what Love to Dream is, it's the wearable sleep sacks that are the swaddle ups that allow your baby to have their hands. I have a little demonstration dolly. Okay. That allows baby to be swaddled with the arms up, okay, which means that they can bring their hands to midline, they can have access, and they're in the more natural, comfortable position, but they still feel swaddled, okay? They have this cute little side-by-side video. I'm just going to play it really quick. Let's see here. Just because I can, Rebecca. I'm demonstrating my technical skills here. Yay. I love that. It's so cute, right? They're so cute in it too. I mean, just the most adorable thing.
Yeah. A couple of things you noticed from that video is while they were wrapping up, burritoing up the baby on the right side, baby on the left had hand to mouth. Children are more likely to soothe if they can touch their face. So that baby who's in the swaddle up is going to more likely to be able to soothe himself back down to sleep. And then if the other baby was, and babies, and if you've ever met a baby, you know that they do this, they kind of move around and fidget and wiggle lots. Chances are all those sheets are going to come loose, and then that's something that's loose in your child's bed, and that's very, very dangerous. That really does increase the risk of SIDS and suffocation. So with the Love to Dream, there's nothing loose in there. So not only is it super quick to get your child in, they're not overheating. They're going to be more likely to be able to soothe, and it's just so much safer than just wrapping them up in a bazillion sheets where you're hoping that just one more layer will keep them from busting out. Just go with the Love to Dream. Honestly, it's an easier swaddle to transition out of. It's much more comfortable, so unbelievably soft, and it looks so cute. Go with the cute option.
Totally. And so we're going to have one winner today, but I have something very special to announce. Okay. So I'm about to launch, ready, you guys? About to launch a week-long, very special giveaway with all kinds of amazing prizes. Of course, we'll have the pump and the Love to Dream, but also our back buddies and our breast support pillows and some other amazing things. So I'm going to be launching that. You guys are, if you've typed baby in the comments here, you guys will be the first to know as soon as it goes live. Okay. So you'll get a message from me as soon as it goes live. And then there's one of these like fun sort of scavenger hunt type things. You're going to have to do a couple different things, but you'll have time. It'll run all week, and I will be back next Wednesday just to announce the winners. Okay.
Yay.
So very cool. Very, very excited. So pay attention for that, because we're going to have more chances to win all the great prizes, and you'll get the announcement. All right. So I just wanted to let you know, just so you can expect it. When you see it, you'll say, oh, that's what she was talking about.
Yeah, be on the lookout for it, because it's coming.
Fantastic. Let's get some hearts. Let's get some hearts going up the screen here. It makes me happy to see all those hearts. I love it. Let's get some hearts. Okay. So, Rebecca, is it a breastfeeding question? Is it a sleep question?
It's a sleep question, because remember, we just answered Victoria's question.
No, I don't remember.
Okay, I'll remind you. We did just answer Victoria's question. She had the flu. She was advised not to feed.
Right. It's all coming.
And you rectified it all.
I got it. It's all coming back to me now. All right, fantastic. Okay, this question is from Amanda. Amanda says, I can't get my 5-month-old to sleep at all unless he's on the breast. He'll wake up anytime I unlatch, and he won't accept a pacifier. I need better non-breastfeeding sleep at night and time for naps during the day.
Okay. Again, really, really common. You are not the only person who is dealing with this. Totally looking at temperament, that will totally play a big part in how adaptable your child is going to be. Some children, laid back, easygoing children, are much more adaptable than others, more intense spirited or shy, slow to warm up. Children will have harder time adjusting to these changes. So have a little understanding of your child there as well. Good place to start. And I know I mentioned earlier that the only way you can break a habit is to not do the habit. That is completely true, but that's not what I would advise that you do here, meaning just not feed, because chances are nobody is going to be sleeping. Your child will not nap, then they're going to be toast come the end of the day. They're not going to fall asleep at nighttime, and then it's just going to be downright miserable for everybody involved. So what I suggest that you actually do is spend some time working on the timing that you're getting your child down for those naps. So was he 5 months old? Shari,
5 months old.
So you want to be maximum 2 hours of awake before going down for a nap. You want to introduce a nap time routine. Nap time routine is nice and consistent, same thing, same place, same order. Every single nap you're at home within your awake time. So you're actually going to be working on the falling asleep, which right now is going to be continue to be that nursing at the 2-hour point. Don't worry about continuing to nurse and continuing to hold or whatever you need to do initially. That's completely fine. But if you're dealing with an overtired or an undertired child, they're going to struggle to fall asleep and remain asleep, and they're going to need much more help to do that. So that's why I suggest working on this timing, because if you're trying to maybe unlatch and your child is overtired or they're undertired, it's not going to be possible. If we can get them at that sweet spot, that spot where they're not overtired, they're not undertired, they're going to be able to have an easier time getting through that sleep cycle. That's when you're going to have an easier time unlatching. You may just get some better naps, which means that then you're going to get some better nights and you can kind of work on doing those things. Again, this is something that we completely look at in Slumber Academy, is that finding the perfect daytime routine for your child, we're looking at their age and their temperament, how we need to be incorporating our nap and nighttime routines, and then how we really slowly and gradually can work on moving away from needing to be latched on the entire time to being much more independent. And again, I mentioned earlier, it's not that one thing that you need to do. It's nap time routine, it's daytime routine, it's maybe getting up and starting the day the same time each day. It's maybe unlatching after 10 minutes and then being able to unlatch after 9 minutes. It's so many different steps. It's not just one big step in the right direction. It is maybe 30 steps, but it's just going to get us the same as what you think is step one. So break it up into tiny, tiny little steps. But first off, if you ever want to make any changes with sleep, the best place to start is by tweaking and changing the daytime routine, the nap time routine, and the nighttime routine. Whenever I work with families, and always suggest this in Slumber Academy as well, if you spend at least a week working on these, you may be able to see that you're getting some great results. We can as much as half nighttime wake-ups by just working on our daytime routines. You may not see any reduction in nighttime wake-ups at all, but it's a real solid foundation for being able to sort of move on and continue to sort of head in that right direction. So it's really worth putting that time, effort, and energy right now into this nap time routine, daytime routine, nighttime routine, because it is the foundation for much better sleep. And you're gonna, because if you keep working on this, you can then just kind of, as I say, just kind of keep heading in the right direction.
Awesome. I wanted to just give you guys, you know, so funny. There's so many people joined the private group, and because there's so many new people all the time, not everybody realizes what's available to them. And I had a few people talking about, like, you know, where do I take a breastfeeding class? I thought, hello, you guys. Okay, if you are My Baby Experts member, and that means you're part of the community and you're part of the private group, you have Simply Breastfeeding, which is my entire breastfeeding class, completely free for you. Okay, so if you guys haven't watched the class, you know, go check it out. It's going to be in the link that you got from me today, but that's just the first of the beginning of the whole membership site. And so you have that right now. It will actually take you to the new membership site. It's being worked on. There's still more coming, but right now you can still have access to that class. And Danielle asked a question. So where can I find a link to breast pumps and briefcases? That's the my pumping class. Okay. She watched it and she found it so informal, but it was so informational, but it was at the Pregnancy Help Center. I do, the classes are available in different pregnancy centers across the country. And a lot of you come and find me because you've seen me as the class that they're showing at your pregnancy center. But breast pumps and briefcases is available online as well. It's not free. And it will be part of my new membership site if you were to up level to the plus membership, but you can still get it now. So if you need it and you're going back to work and you need that class, the link will be in the comments as well. Okay, the link will be in the comments, in that comment that you got from me. Type the word baby, you'll get the link to the pumping class. All right. Anybody watch Breast Pumps and Briefcases? It's really a very helpful class. So if you watched it, I'd love to hear. Rebecca, I have a question here. I know we're getting to the end here, but I want to answer a question for Gabrielle. Can you ask me that question?
I will. I am just scrolling. Oh, this is a good one. How long should your baby breastfeed breastfeed for? My baby only eats for about 10 minutes. That is such a good question.
Such a good question. And I wanted you to ask me that one because I actually saw different variations of this exact same question, probably about 4 or 5 times this week in the group, on the page, from people. Okay, so I want to just talk about this for a minute. How long your baby spends at the breast has nothing to do with how much milk they're getting. So let me just say that. Has nothing to do with how much milk they're getting, and it is not an indication that they're getting enough or they're getting too much or they're not getting, or they're getting the right amount. Like, it just doesn't tell you anything that other than they spent 10 minutes at the breast. Okay, so the idea that your baby may only go onto the breast only eat on one side for 6 minutes, and the baby comes off and the baby's like full and satisfied and peeing and pooping and gaining weight and do all these things, and you're thinking, how do I keep them on longer? How do I get them eating longer? The nurses told me to do 20 minutes on each side. The pediatrician is wanting me to do, at least 20 minutes or 15 minutes. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Okay. You'd be shocked if you, some babies will eat very efficiently. Okay. And depending on how much milk you have in that breast and how fast and heavy the letdown is, they may be getting 2, 3, 4 ounces in just a few minutes. And then maybe they linger for a while, but the majority of that feeding's happening right at the beginning. Okay. So how long should your baby breastfeed when your baby only eats about 10 minutes? Only is not really the right word. Only 10 minutes is probably a great feeding. And so my question back, Gabrielle, would be, is your baby having 6 to 8 wet diapers in a 24-hour period? Is your baby pooping, depending on how old your baby is your baby pooping a lot every day in the beginning? They may stop pooping a lot after the first 4 to 6 weeks or so. That might go a long time without pooping. But as long as they're peeing, meaning they're hydrated, okay, as long as they're gaining weight, at least going up the scale, okay, and not at any, fast movement. It doesn't have to be a ton of weight, okay? As long as those things are doing well and your baby is hitting their developmental milestones, their head is growing, they have some fat on their body. You look at some of these babies where moms are like, oh, the baby doesn't eat often enough, or the doctor wants the baby to grow faster or gain faster. And they show me pictures and the baby's got 3 chins and rolls in their arms. And I'm going, doesn't really look like a malnourished baby. Okay, so again, it comes back to what we were talking about before, which is every baby is different. Okay, every baby eats for different stretches of time. Every baby eats faster or slower. Every baby gains at a different pace because they are people. Look at all of us. We're not all the same size. We don't all respond exactly the same way. So again, go with your gut instincts. Look at your child and ask yourself, does the baby feel and look right to you and good? You're going to know. Okay, you're going to know. So, and then if you have any questions about your milk supply, or you have any questions about, any issues with breastfeeding, go seek out a lactation consultant. Okay, that's my best advice to you. Do not receive unless there are a few, pediatricians out there that are also lactation consultants. Great. Okay. But if yours is not, and you are getting breastfeeding advice and you're not quite sure that it's the right thing, or it doesn't feel right, or it's feeling disappointing and it doesn't seem like it's the right answer, go see a lactation consultant. They are the experts in breastfeeding, not your pediatrician. All right. And nothing against pediatricians. I love them. We need them. Your baby needs them. They're great for all kinds of things, usually not breastfeeding. The good pediatricians, you want to know what a good pediatrician does for breastfeeding advice? They refer you to a lactation consultant. That's how you
who has spent much more time studying breastfeeding than the pediatrician has.
That's how you know a good pediatrician. That's how I know a good pediatrician, is that when a mom's having breastfeeding issues, they know to refer to a lactation consultant. Those are the best. Okay. Yeah. And so it's like anything else. I used to use this analogy for my private clients. And I used to say, if you, God forbid, okay, if you had cancer, okay, or some very specific disease, all right, would you go to your general practitioner?
No.
No. Is that who you would seek care from? Or
No.
would you go to a specialist? Would you go to someone who specializes specifically in the issue that you have? Or would you continue to use your general practitioner? No. The general practitioner may be the first person you see, maybe the one to help you identify and test for things. And then the best general practitioners will refer you to the specialists that need to really help you treat whatever that specific issue is. That's how I would look at our the pediatrician and a lactation consultant, okay? And again, if you have one that is both, fantastic. Look, I'm a midwife and I'm also an IBCLC. So patients that came to me could see me for both, all right? And that's not everybody, okay? All right. Wonderful. Well, Rebecca, as much as I said we wouldn't go over, we went over anyway.
We totally did. And now I'm late for my phone call.
And I need to go because I'm going to be late for my daughter's pediatrician appointment. Speaking of pediatricians, I'm sitting here talking about good ones and I'm late to mine, okay? So I just want to say thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Even Flow. Thank you, Love to Dream, for the amazing prizes. Thank you, Rebecca, for coming and doing this with me again.
You're very welcome.
Wonderful. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. Please go and join my private group right away and watch out for the big giveaway that we will be announcing in the next day or two. It's going to be a surprise. Okay, you'll get a link for it. You're going to get a message from me. We'll be announcing winners, I think. Did she
doing it now? Yes, she's doing it now.
Okay. All right. So let's give her a second to announce the winners here. We've got winners for the pump and the Love to Dream, right?
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Can she still post even if I run to my pediatrician appointment?
Yes.
Great. We're going to say goodbye. You'll get the winners here, and congrats to the. There they are. Okay, congrats to the winners. Love you guys. Mwah. Bye.
Bye.